Julie, Alex,
Hi,
how's it going?
Sophia. I love your hair.
Aw,
It's
thank
great.
you.
And this is not the fifth time I'm saying that.
No, not at all. It's very natural.
Well, I still love it.
Yes, that's
True, true.
yes. I was saying that I wanted it to look like Hayley Williams from Paramore.
Well, you nailed it. Are you going to sing to us today?
No, no, I can't sing.
Tell me, what have you been reading this week?
Okay, I finished two books and I'm currently reading two books. So I'll start with the two that I finished because past Sophia talked about it a little bit, I think. So I finished Dig, which I was almost done last time that we talked. And it was awesome and amazing. And the ending just is my favorite. Like, there's just like a mystery that's solved. And then there's the one spoiler that's not really a spoiler that I can give is that there's a family party and one person makes balloon animals shaped like genitals, like an anatomically correct like vagina and all that kind of stuff, and then she gives it to her grandpa. And I was like, "You're my hero."
I'm trying to picture that.
But beside that, it's actually a very deep book, and
So you're
oh,
saying that the book that's called Dig is deep.
it is very deep. Yes.
Hello. It is very clearly a holiday and a very laid back Monday. I'm not doing nothing. I spent most of my day in bed. It was really awesome. And I also finished Dig last night, Dig by A.S. King, which is now cemented as one of my favorite books of all time because just as amazing the second time around. It is the perfect generational YA magical realism story, and it touches, like I said before, on racism and white privilege and being poor, having family support, not having that abuse, kind of like the coping mechanisms of all of that, and like the generational differences between grandparents, the parents, and then how the kids deal with it. Just so awesome, like so amazing. Also funny at times and really sad at times. I can't even recommend it enough.
I also finished Felix Ever After, which was also amazing, and I cried, and it was wonderful, and the ending just fills my heart with so much love. It's just so good. And Felix is a character, and Ezra, I can't. Oh my god. It's only been like 3 months that I last read it, but it's still perfection. So perfect.
That's great.
And I'm almost done Felix Ever After, which I started this morning, and I was reading for a little bit physically and then switched to the audiobook to finish it off. I just can't even put into words how amazing that story is, how much I love it, how much I love the characters, and I really needed something more diverse and a little with a little representation, and Felix and Ezra and just like their relationship and their characters, they're just so amazing. I after all the heteronormativity, I really wanted some conversations about gender and sexuality and inclusion, and it's oh my god, it's just so amazing. I can't even. You should look at Own Voices reviews, obviously, because what can I even say as a little white lady? But just read it. Just read it.
The first one that you finished this week was Everything I Never Told You, right?
Yes. I had a very weird week reading wise where I started again very, very slow, and then I finished a book yesterday and two books today. So, yesterday I finished Everything I Never Told You, and past Alex has a lot of emotions.
Hello, hello. This is present slash best Alex coming at you with a reading update. I just started Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I guess I never told you this book will be on my TBR because it wasn't originally there, but I just had to sneak it in. I read it originally 4 years ago, and I remember loving it. I remember relating to it a lot. I noticed that I'm very bad at describing what the books I'm reading are about. I mainly speak about how they make me feel, and it's always sad. So let me try and be better about this. Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng is about this family in the 70s. They live in a small town, and they are the only biracial family in this town or in the area. The dad is Chinese, the mom is white, and they have 3 children. So the book is about Lydia. She's the middle child, and the book begins with her missing, and then she's found dead. Not a spoiler, I swear that's on the back of the book. So it's all about how the family and the parents had no idea what was going on with Lydia. They had one perception of her, and she was a completely different person. And we also try to unveil what happened to her and what went wrong where, while also discovering a lot of things about the parents' past. I'm about halfway done with Everything I Never Told You, and it's as painful as I remember it to be. Painful in a sense where you want to scream at those parents to speak to each other, to communicate what they're going through or what their plans are or what they're doing to each other or to their children, and you just can't. And then it makes you think, well, it makes me think, if they do that and they seem like a perfectly normal family without much going on, did my parents do that to me? Am I doing that to the people I love and I communicate with on a daily basis? This is so fucked up. It's messing me up so badly. I'm overthinking everything, and I just feel so bad about what's coming in the book and what's already happened, and it's just making me anxious. In the best possible way though, because I love this book, and so I had to put like positive butterflies on my face.
We may have cried. May have.
On camera? Did you cry on camera though?
No.
Not crying. I have something in my eye, and Nelson, the monkey, is helping me cope with it. I just finished Everything I Never Told You. So sad. I'm so mad. It's so emotional. Yeah.
The thing that gets me most was with this book, and what got me last time, and I read my review on Goodreads, and it's so, I relate to it so easy, it's so sad, and it's so deep, and all of that. And I do relate to it very easy because it's about half Asian family, which is great. And it's in the 70s, and it's in like small town in the US, so half relate. But the baggage that those parents give to their children, it's so terrible. And the miscommunication, not even miscommunication, just the lack of communication. People just don't talk to each other in their family. And I feel like the first time I read it, I really sympathized with Lydia because why not? I mean, she's the main victim in this whole scenario. But I read it the second time around, and I don't know if it's because I'm a little bit older now, or if it's because I'm seeing firsthand more how we kind of treat my nieces and what's going on like within a family from a parental side. I sympathize more with the older brother and the mother and the father. I don't like him, still don't like him, but I understand him. And it's so complex, that feeling of you don't like them, you don't like their choices, but you also like, I get you.
I started that book liking everyone on a surface, and then the more I got to know them, despising all of them. Like, I ended up not liking any of them in the end because I'm like, you're just kind of all terrible? Like,
yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah, well, they're not great, even though I feel like she tried to give them a happier ending, just like a little bit better. But what I don't understand, and I've read this in other books, and maybe you can share your thoughts on that. They have 3 children. They have a boy, a girl, and a girl. Why do they don't care about the last girl? I know that there was an emotional connection where the mother wanted to do something in her life, and then she got pregnant again with the last child. So I understand that part, that she kind of blames her on that. But you have a living, breathing child in your household. And it's constantly like, oh, Hannah was used to being ignored. Hannah was so glad to have her mother's attention for 2 seconds.
And then they forget to like put out a table setting for her and that kind of stuff, right? They just like literally straight up forget about her. That's so terrible.
And there's a moment when the mother is mourning her dead daughter, and Hannah steps into like, and there's poor lightning. She's like, oh, she thought she saw her Lydia again. And I was like, no, you have another daughter. Mm-hmm. She came out of your body. Like, how do you forget that? So that's what made me extremely sad this time around. Mm-hmm. But overall, great book. I think it's so amazing. It's so well written, And I can't wait for Celeste Ng to write her next one because, I mean, Little Fires Everywhere was such a huge success. This kind of got a little bit overlooked, but I feel like it won something, maybe. So I really hope she's writing something.
Should I talk about my issues with the host?
Please.
Okay.
It's your time to rant over Stephanie Meyer. Stephanie Meyer.
Yeah. I actually already did in the past video, so technically I could just put that in here. But I wanted to make it more calm. And actually it can all be summed up by the fact that there's an age difference between the main character and the love interest that serves absolutely no purpose because they have the same life experiences. They are in the same part of their lives, like they're just as mature. If anything, she's in a mother role and he's just a loner, but canonically she's 17 and he's 26 for absolutely no reason other than the fact that there's 1.5 pages of dialogue of like, oh, now that the world has ended, do we really have to like pay attention to these conventions?
Well, how convenient that the world is ending so we can all
right?
age.
And then obviously he's all like, no, I can't do it. I'm too old. And he's like, but boy. Ugh. Anyway, so that's bugged me this time. And then every time, they're together or blah. And then he like, I don't know if that's a spoiler. It's kind of a spoiler. I'm just going to put spoiler here. When they reunite, he hits her like across the face and she gets a concussion from it. And like, yes, because she has like a parasite in her, like she has a soul inside of her and whatever, but still, like, don't fucking hate your girlfriend that you love more than anything and blah, blah, blah. So that was like, why? Ugh. Of course, he doesn't know that the girlfriend's still in there, but still. I'm only 125 pages in, 135, whatever. I'm technically at the part where I start liking the plot more because there's part of the plot where there's one situation and there's a very clear cut, and then the second situation is just starting now. And technically that's the one that I enjoyed more, and I just kind of have not wanted to pick the book back up because now the age difference is bothering me. And then the other thing is like, it's just very heteronormative like the other books that we talked about, and that's not going to change. I know that that's just her writing style or the era or whatever. So now that I read 2 books where there were queer characters, I was like, this is wonderful and amazing. But now I'm going back to like, and there's a boy and there's a girl and there's a boy and there's a girl. So and whatever. I'm still gonna like the end of the book, I think, but maybe this time is just not going to be 5 stars like the past 5 times I read it.
I was terrified reading back Hard to Be a God that I'm going to find issues with it that I never realized before because it's been a while since I last reread it. And also it's like I have very emotional attachment to this book with my dad reading it to me for the first time, and that's his favorite book. And also reading it in Russian and focusing on like the Russian side of the politics and the background, and with things that I know now that I didn't know before, and with all the problematic things in books, I was terrified that I'm going to find, I don't know, racism, sexism, any other isms in it. It was very scary to me. But no, I think all I found was communism.
Nice.
It's a very political book. I mean, I knew that. I know that the authors have used their platform as sci-fi to sneak past the Soviet Union every criticism they had about it. And it went way over people's head back at the time. But it's so political. So to answer your question from the first episode, no, I don't think you would like it.
Oh, okay.
But that's because you really need to be very invested in politics and how politics were formed back in the 60s in Russia, like in the Soviet Union, and again, communism. So you need to really feel passionately about those topics to see the criticism and the parallels and how they're trying to reflect on it.
I would not understand.
Yeah, so you're not going to enjoy it. That's why the book was written for. You're not going to enjoy that part. And then the other aspect that it's written like sci-fi/fantasy book, it's good. It has its points and it's funny, but I also think that it's mainly because you either A, understand like the references like from Russian, or you're emotionally attached to it as I am.
Mm.
So why I would deeply recommend the book, I'm not gonna make you read it.
Okay. That's fair.
But it was I forgot a few plot points. So it was nice to read them and actually see how the book was. It has a very nice flow, like story-wise. It's connected very nicely.
Got these little tabs, and I thought they were sticky tabs, like that one side of it is a little bit whatever. And then it turned out they're not sticky. And I was like, did I just buy little like cute pieces of paper and that's it? And then I found out that they're washi tape stickers. So it peels off and they're washi tape. But the thing is, like, all of the instructions are in Japanese, and even the Google Translate app wouldn't be able to do that. So I had to Google multiple times to even get to the fact that they're washi tape stickers. Anyway, I wanted to use them initially to annotate books or to mark my favorite spots or whatever. So now I just did that with washi tape. So I'm actually talking about the Watchmaker Filigree Street. I didn't remember before starting the book again what it was about at all, but it turns out that it's about 3 main characters and 2 different perspectives. One of the main characters is Daniel, who works at Whitehall, so like for the British government, as a telegrapher. Is that how you pronounce it?
Sure.
He, like, encrypts and sends communication between like Scotland Yard and whatever. And it's said in London and Oxford, 1883 and 84 and whatever. And Daniel gets a mysterious pocket watch. He finds it in his apartment. It's like gift wrapped and everything, but nobody knows who dropped it off. And then there was a bomb threat, and his pocket watch had an alarm set like 5 seconds before the bomb actually went off.
That's
so
great.
Everyone's like, oh shit, like whoever left your pocket watch knew when the bomb was going to go off. So that kind of thing. And then he finds out who made the watch, and then goes to the watchmaker, and that's the title. And also one of the main characters is a Japanese watchmaker who's just my favorite literary character ever, and he's the one that made the clockwork octopus, whose name is Katsu. And then there's a second perspective that right now isn't connected yet, which is a woman who's studying science and like how light travels through air. So like photons, but it's 1883, so they don't know photons yet. Not that I know what a photon is, but whatever. And then kind of her struggles of like being a woman in that time, and her friend, and then her mom just showed up and was like, I found someone you can marry. So, and it's weirdly funny because they're just like kind of cool. And then the one part that I read to you that I just thought was so badass is the Japanese friend of the female character, Grace. So he's also Japanese. And there's a lot of like there's a lot of microaggressions against him, and whenever there's any sort of Asian character, even the other main character treats them differently and is like, do you speak English, right? So Grace, the main character, and then her Japanese friend go to a women's suffrage meeting, and the host of the suffrage meeting is like, do you speak English? She asked the Japanese dude, and he answered, I do, though I'm afraid my sense of direction is somewhat hazy in all languages. Can you remind me where I ought to wait? Somebody did tell me last time, but I've quite forgotten now. And I was like, that is badass. That's just how you should respond when someone's being fucking rude. So that was one of the things that I highlighted because I thought it was awesome. But so far, I'm really loving the thing that I wrote about 30% through the way of the Watchmaker Filigree Street when I last read it in December 2017. I went from, oh, this is neat, to, this is really neat, to, holy shit, this is the neatest, real fast. I don't really know which plot point it was that accelerated that, because I think I'm a third of the way through now. No, not quite. We'll see.
Maybe you'll get that feeling again.
Mm-hmm.
What are you planning to read next week, aside from the ones that you already started?
I think with The Fire on High, I was looking at my TBR by my bed because I'm feeling like light YA again after historical, and then after reading a little bit more of the sci-fi one. And then the poetry book, because that's short and nice, and I can kind of put that in there.
Nice.
So,
So-
I finished one other book that you should talk about too, right?
Yeah, so we talked about it last week. You had a lot of emotions about it, and I finished it this week. I had a lot of emotions about it. It's The Smell of Other People's Houses. I love that book, and I couldn't find anything wrong with it to put in the little template that we made for the book.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's not that I just deeply love this book and it's flawless in my eyes. I just objectively couldn't find anything wrong with it. It just,
I was kind of feeling like that, but when I first read it, I gave it 4 stars because there were so many cliches and everything wrapped up and paired up so nicely.
yes, and also,
That's
no,
like,
once again, lack of queer representation. So
yes,
I'd
yeah,
say
for
that.
sure.
But anyway, I wanted to say that the thing that I like most about it, if we're putting characters aside and like the plot lines and everything, I like that the pace of this book. I love that you can still have things happening off screen in a sense. So if something is happening with um, Hank, it's not, you learn about it 2 chapters later when Alice is talking about it. And
Yeah,
I
I
love
love
it.
that. Me too.
Yeah, and I think that what makes that book great is that and it's so short because of that. And I don't think that we're missing anything. If if anything, I feel like in other books they're like 500 pages long because you had to read how the character comes to the decision and their pros and cons and how they feel about the decision and how the decision backfire. So 300 pages later, you're like, okay, I'm so done with this. Where here, you were like, oh, so she did go to the dance recital after all. We didn't have to hear her pound about it and talk about it for like 3 chapters and cry about it, or like, it was so great. So that's my favorite thing about this book. It's just, it works. That plot rolling works. And
Totally.
yeah. So, the question of the week is explain your rating system on Goodreads by using food or supernatural characters slash moments. So
Okay.
basically, 5 stars is your favorite food slash moment character, and 1 star, or can you do 0 stars? You can do no rating. You can say what no rating is.
Okay. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I have no rating books a lot. Okay, so we'll start with the supernatural things because I think it's easier. So 5 stars is cast, and there is no you don't have to explain that. He's
No,
just like the reason I live.
I kind of expected that. I think,
Um,
yeah,
and then actually 4 stars is Dean because I love him, but I love him less than Cass.
that hurts.
Yeah. And then okay, but 3 stars is Sam because
I'm
I'm
fine with
just
that.
not a Sam girl. So like he's fine, but whatever. 2 stars Lucifer. I'm not a fan. No, I have a better idea. The mom. The mom is 1 star.
Mary,
Fucking
Mary Winchester.
so okay, so 1 star's Mary and also the actress. Sorry, not sorry. Um, I talked to her on the phone once, and I'm like, I don't like you. But she was mean to me. And then no rating is Crowley because I went through all of the stages with Crowley. Like, it could mean 5 stars, could mean 1 star, and I'm just not quite sure.
Just confused.
Just confused. For food, I think 5 stars is the potato in all of its forms.
In all of its glory.
Exactly. I was gonna say like scallop potatoes and like fries, baked potatoes, mashed potatoes. I love mashed potatoes. Boiled, no salt. I just love a potato.
My specialty, boiled potatoes.
4 stars tofu because you can do really awesome things with it, but obviously it's disgusting by itself.
Still
So
tofu.
it tastes like Play-Doh, but you can be real like creative and awesome with it. And I love tofu nuggets and that kind of stuff. And tofu scramble. So like that's the 4 star. 3 stars is red peppers because I love raw red peppers and I really don't like cooked red peppers. Like I'll eat them, but it's like meh. So they can be really awesome and they can be really shitty. So the average is 3. 2 stars is corn because I don't hate it just quite as much as the 1 star, which is peas. Fucking hate peas. Like my entire life, they're like my arch nemesis.
Thought maybe no rating for you will be matcha because you don't like it, but you make yourself drink it from time to time.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm so proud of myself for thinking of that question.
Yeah, that was very creative and awesome.
I don't know how I'm gonna top this next week.
Thank you for watching.
Oh, I get to choose the emoji this time. You messed up. Nobody could find a like.
I think people also watch on laptops, so they don't have an emoji.
Okay. So, if you finish this episode, put the girl with the 2 pigtails. I feel like there's an emoji like that.
Yeah, or like one that. Oopsie. There's one that like where you should do the hair thing.
Yes, do that one. The one with the hair. Put the pretty hair girl emoji.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for this time.
Cool. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Who do I not like in Supernatural?
Ruby.
No, I love Ruby.
Really?
Yes. Like, she sucks, but I love her.
Both of them?
Yes. Well, I like the second one better, but...
Really?
Yes.
If there is no lock, there is a key. Like, favorite. I'm doing this badly. Let me start.
Which I was 21. I don't know what I was up to when I was 21. I got married. Nope, I got married when I was 20. Never mind. Do we have to start from the very beginning?
Just say hi again. I'll compliment your hair again.